Hi, everybody. Harry here to talk about what's being portrayed as the narrowing of the gag order in the New York case in which Trump has been convicted. He asked, did Trump for the gag order denial be removed? Core political speech, and the trial is over and no worries about anything and any retrial is far in the future, etc. And indeed, Merchan did agree to modify it. And in particular, he said, okay, as to the witnesses whom I've kept you from really criticizing, and especially Michael Cohen, and I think Stormy Daniels would be in that category, have at them. The trial is over. They're private citizens. They've actually criticized you. There's no longer any ban on your criticizing them for purposes of the trial or the ongoing proceeding that includes the trial. And then likewise, the jurors, they were not able to say anything about any of them. And Merchan says in his fairly brief order, I wish I could keep that in place, but the jurors have been discharged. So my ability to continue that provision is gone because they're no longer within the purview of the court and the ambit of the case. What does that leave? It leaves the provision that says Trump can't make statements or direct others to make statements about court personnel, the lawyers, pretty much everyone professionally involved in the case, with the exception of Merchan himself and Alvin Bragg, who have always been, according to Merchan, fair game for Trump, and he certainly indulged in that allowance. Okay, so as I say, people are saying narrowing the gag order. I think that gets the headline backwards. Because what really matters is that the gag order is perpetuated. Yes, it's narrowed because the reasons for certain of the provisions now go away. But Trump asked for the whole thing to go away, and Merchan says, no, there's still an interest here, meaning Trump is still essentially a criminal defendant / convict, and Merchan still exercises authority over him, which includes, as you recall, after the 10 violations that Trump already did at $1,000 a pop, not very much, Merchan's warning that if you force me to do this, I will put you in jail. So I think what really matters here is that he continues, does Merchan, to be able to restrict Trump. It's just, and this is the important point that people always miss, I would say. Trump always makes this a First Amendment claim and urges the court to analyze it as a prior restraint of free speech, which is really very disfavored in the law, et cetera, et cetera. It isn't that. It's a whole different, it's not the restraint of speech per se. It's a different government power that judges have to protect the integrity of proceedings and the people who participate in them. That class, the integrity is now, much less exigent, but it's still present. And the class of people who work on the case is reduced as well. But he's still asserting and able to assert control over Trump. And this, I think, is the really big point. From now to, except for a time when he's president, if he's president, I see Trump as being under subject to the oversight of courts, different courts, basically for the rest of his life. I see him getting a long term of probation here, which, yes, that doesn't put you in jail and is considered kind of light, but it puts you under court supervision. And if you commit other crimes or don't show up for interviews and the like, they're real tools. In other words, Merchan has already and now continues to have. Don't be deceived into thinking that he doesn't just because the trial is over. Power over Trump, and Trump is not a normal citizen, probably never will be. vis-a-vis the criminal justice system. He's a defendant / convict / soon to be, I think, a probationer. We'll see if it's a probationary sentence, what happens there. I've written a piece that cites a lot of people in New York saying typically a probationary sentence stays in effect when something goes up on appeal. A sentence in jail does not. So we'll see how that would even work. But even if it goes up on appeal, this interest that Mayor Chun has will remain, that unless the appellate division reverses it, which I find very unlikely, that modicum of oversight will be in place, will restrain Trump. And that's, again, I believe if he were to be elected president, the Supreme Court would discern a principle that says, any shackles by a state have to be removed during his tenure. But the big point is there are shackles here. He's not in jail. They're not as wide-ranging as when a trial is actually going on and there are witnesses and sitting jurors, but nevertheless, Mayor Chun has some control over him that remains and that will remain. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.